awesomely responsive group. So, as promised, my name is Sam, and I work over at the Bristol County Children's Advocacy Center. I'm going to explain a little bit more about what the CSEC is, what we do over there, as well as talk to you guys today about exploitation, sex trafficking that occurs here in Bristol County. So, as you can imagine, it's a really difficult thing for us to talk about, even those of us who do this work all of the time. It's really heavy and it can require a lot of emotional regulation. So if you need to use the bathroom, that's a great reason to get up. But also if you need a minute just to kind of check in with yourselves, have a sip of water, check in with any of your instructors if you need, please feel free to do that as well. As long as you're not being disruptive, I have no problem with people kind of getting out and doing what they need to do to take care of themselves today, okay?
You guys can relax now. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, thank you so much. All right, so we're going to get started with a little bit of true or false. You don't have to raise your hands or anything. I'm just going to go through each bullet point. You guys can kind of just shout out whether you think that is a true statement or not a true statement. So, first and foremost, there are people being exploited on the internet. True or false?
True.
All right, sharing nude or partially nude photos or videos online is a form of exploitation.
True.
Being in the sex industry under the age of 18 is a choice.
False.
True or false? Okay, some mixed messages. We'll come back to that one. Making an OnlyFans under the age of 18 is legal.
False.
Okay. Child trafficking is something that only happens in foreign countries.
False.
Sharing a nude photo of a peer with a friend is a type of exploitation.
True.
Victims of sexual exploitation are always physically forced into their situations.
False.
Only girls are victims of sex trafficking.
False.
Traffickers are skilled at using people's weaknesses to take advantage of them.
True.
And traffickers are always older adults.
False.
Okay, awesome. Thank you again so much for the participation. You guys are great. The only thing we had a couple of mixed thoughts about here was these kind of bullet points about being in the sex industry under the age of 18, making OnlyFans, whether or not that is legal. So, spoiler alert, I'll tell you right now, that is not something that you are legally able to consent to under the age of 18, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on that through this presentation. But you guys are already in really good shape. You know a lot about this. So let's keep going. The actual definition of CSEC is a little bit complicated. You have to meet these 4 bullet points. So we're going to talk a lot about sex trafficking and use a lot of different language throughout the course of the presentation. And what it all kind of comes back to is this really broad category of commercial sexual exploitation of children. So we have to have these 4 points here. Something of value has to be exchanged. So we have, on the slide a couple of examples like money, shelter. What are some things that are valuable to people your age? Yeah.
Phones.
Phones, absolutely. What else? You can shout out for me. What's important to people?
Money.
Money, absolutely. Anything else?
Gaming consoles.
Gaming consoles, yeah. Got it.
Yeah, cars.
Cars, yeah. Do you have something else behind them?
Information.
Information, I love that, yeah.
A home.
A home.
Friends and family.
Awesome, okay. So you guys hit on some really important kind of non-tangible points, but also the ones that are like physical items of value. So we're going to focus on some of those today. So you talked about money, you talked about a home. Nobody shouted out food. Food is really important to me. I can't get through the day without snacks. I don't know about you guys. We also talk about things like sneakers, hair, nails, a lot of different things like that can be important to kids. As well as like vape pens. I'm sure that's something that's going around. I'm sure not for any of you guys, it's not important for you, but there's probably people who you know who may be interested in that sort of thing. So these are all the things that we try to keep in mind when we're talking about what is of value. We're also talking about sexual activity, and I want to just note really quickly that we're also talking about the types of sexual activity that don't involve any in-person contact. We're talking about photos. If there's any sort of nude imagery that's being exchanged, it falls under the same umbrella of commercial exploitation and what we kind of think about as potential trafficking, okay? And the reason why we want to look at all of those things is because we're trying to see whether or not there might be exploitation, whether there's somebody who has more power taking advantage of somebody. And anytime we're talking about that power difference, we're talking about people who are older, people who have more resources, who have more money, who have more access to resources in the community, who have the things that people are looking to acquire. If there's somebody like that, and they're looking for somebody who is vulnerable to kind of meet those needs, that's exploitation. And we want to have the opportunity to investigate that and see if we can stop somebody from exploiting others. And we are, of course, talking about anyone under the age of 18. I wouldn't typically refer to you guys as children. The law does. But but we are talking about any age range under 18. We're all going to be investigated the same way, okay? So just a little quick note, you can be exploited without being trafficked. Again, we use a lot of language, and it all is kind of interchangeable. So we're talking about all kinds of sexual exploitation, including sexting, sextortion, revenge porn, or other forms of sharing those photos and videos. What do you guys think about when you see this slide with all these pictures? What does this bring up for you guys? Anything in particular? Yeah. It could happen, absolutely. Yep.
Kidnapping, somebody going missing.
Kidnapping, somebody going missing. Yeah, right. These are kind of big images. They make us think about, you know, someone being held in a basement, this like creepy padlock. We're thinking about the types of things that are on the news, Amber Alerts, all of that. And I think it's important to note that this does happen. We're familiar with a case that occurred recently in Bristol County in the last couple of years that has now been charged by the FBI about somebody who was involved in a sex trafficking ring, which was operating right out of our county with some youth who are involved in this, right? But it's not the vast majority of what we see, but it is kind of what people think about when we talk about trafficking. So I want to just mention that it is a reality that we tackle, but it's not what you're likely to encounter, and it's not what you need to be prepared for. Stranger danger is important, but it's not mostly what we're going to see out there. So we kind of covered this, but just to reiterate all of the things that you guys were talking about, it is kind of a myth that in 2025, sex trafficking looks like people who are kidnapped, taken off the streets in a white van, and Liam Neeson is coming over across country to rescue somebody and beat the traffickers to a pulp and bring them home. That's not primarily what we are seeing. What it looks more like is minors here in the US, people around the age of 14 years old. We are talking about them being trafficked by people that they know, not strangers off of the street. And it's really important too, a lot of our media coverage is about girls who are victims, but we know that nearly half of victims worldwide are boys. So if we're not talking about that risk, we're missing a lot of people who are vulnerable, right? And that would be terrible. Just a couple of more facts for you guys. I promise we'll get to some more uplifting stuff, but we just really throw out the heavy facts for you at the beginning here. So again, we're talking about 300,000 children in the United States who might be at risk for exploitation every year. And the average age that somebody first gets into this sort of situation is between 12 and 16. That number is kind of decreasing a little bit as people get older, have access to technology a little bit younger. We're encountering some tough people out there, and that number has started to shift. And the biggest difficulty that we face is that people don't really know what exploitation is, and they don't know how to get help if they do know somebody who's encountering this situation. So that's our goal here today, is to just talk a little bit about what this actually looks like and how to make sure that you all know how to get yourselves or anybody that you know who is dealing with something like this the right help. We also want to just mention very briefly that we are worried about kids who are missing, who leave their placements that are supposed to be safe for them and are kind of out in the community. We know that they're really vulnerable to exploitation, and so that's something that we want to kind of, again, loop you into our team of people to help tackle this difficulty. So why does human trafficking still exist, and why are we still talking about it in 2025? There's a lot of money to be made in human trafficking. So you guys can see these statistics. We're talking about Netflix, Starbucks, Disney, and Coca-Cola. That's like some really big businesses making a ton of money. So human trafficking will make more money than that every year. On the other side, we've got another couple examples of combinations of Google. I don't know why Starbucks is always in there. Nike, the NFL. Like those are some, again, some big money earners. And we're talking about human trafficking that actually produces more money yearly. So what does it actually look like? We've talked a lot about what it doesn't look like. But what actually happens is we have youth who are involved in what we refer to as survival sex. Any guesses as to what that means? It's not a term you guys have probably heard, but you've been so on it that I'm just curious. Yeah?
Being forced to have sex or die.
To die, yeah, absolutely. So to get your basic needs for survival met, you have to engage in sexual activity. That is exactly what we mean when we talk about survival sex. We're going to kind of loop back to that when we talk a little bit about kids who are missing, but that's my number one concern. If I have a kid who is not somewhere that they are able to stay safely, what are they going to do in order to survive out in the community, right? So this is something that we're concerned about. We're also concerned about a lot of things happening on the internet. So we're concerned about inappropriate images, OnlyFans, a lot of those kinds of things. A lot of this internet-based exploitation, we see a lot of this occurring on social media, dating apps, video games. But we also want to just note the last couple of bullet points with our family members. We do know that there are some youth out there who are exploited by family members who don't have safe people to kind of go home to every night. So I just want to mention that we are really aware that that is a reality for some people, and that is part of what makes them unsafe. So again, we want to educate that it's a more complex dynamic than just kind of kids who are out there engaged in some of these things. Any questions so far? You guys are doing a great job. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about sexting, and you guys all know what this is, but we're talking about any kind of exchange of explicit content. So we're talking about pictures, videos, but also messages that are just really graphic in nature. If someone is using words to describe, sexually explicit material, that's also going to kind of qualify as sexting. It's something that is occurring a lot amongst anybody who has access to a phone, to the internet, to social media. But we do know that it's kind of hard to read on this screen, but this is something that is illegal, to receive these images, to send them, to forward them. And one of the most important points about that is about our access and our kind of control over that image, right? So if somebody chooses to send an image, they no longer have control of it. Once they hit that send button, that image is in someone else's hands, and they have the ability to control what happens with it from there. Do you guys think that if we encounter a situation where someone has sent an image and we learn about it and we want to help and support that person, do you think there's a chance that we can find every person who has that photo and make sure it's deleted?
No.
No, right? Yeah. We're going to try, to be clear. That's important. But there's a good chance that that image is going to go far past our ability to kind of control it, right? And we know that that happens because the images are being sent around in text, maybe uploaded onto social media sites. I know Snapchat, we see a ton of referrals for things getting passed around there. But also importantly to think about, sometimes these images end up in emails to adults that you respect. So again, if we find out that someone's image is out there, we're going to do our best to try to track it down, take it down, and make sure that they are safe. Which sometimes means that your parents, your teachers, your coaches, your SROs, sometimes us at the CSEC, we're going to find out about these images and possibly see them as well. And just important to think about, again, that legality here. So when we are talking about an image that someone under the age of 18 has sent, that's considered child pornography, right? Somebody under the law is still a child, even though I don't think that's a great word for you guys. And we have some specific ages of consent in Massachusetts. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but if you guys do have questions, you're more than welcome to kind of go back to your program staff here. So the age of consent for any sort of sexual touching in Massachusetts is 14 years old. Before 14, that's off the table. The age of consent for any sort of penetration is 16 years old. Again, before 16, off the table. But the age of consent for taking an inappropriate photo is 18. And that's an important point, right? Because if you can legally have sex at 16, why can't we take a photo and share that photo? So the first reason, again, under the law, we're talking about child pornography. So it would be illegal to have an image of child pornography to share or send that. I also want to note, too, the kind of permanency of that image, right? We just talked about that example of losing control over it, not being able to get back every instance of that image being shared. So I think it's really important for us to remember that that's an important piece of this, and that's why I think some of that gap between the ages of consent exists. You can see up here, we can spend a little bit more time on this if you guys have questions, but there are some significant legal consequences to that activity as well. And the second thing that we want to talk about when we are concerned about the exchange of inappropriate images is something that we call sextortion. So it is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, where somebody is threatened or blackmailed as a result of that photo having been shown. So what usually will happen, and I get a lot of referrals for this every year, is someone will reach out, engage in a conversation with a youth, they'll agree to send a photo, and that person will then say, if you don't send me money, I'm going to send this photo to everyone you know. I'm going to send it to the school, I'm going to send it to your coaches, I'm going to make sure that there are some repercussions for you, so you have to send me money or do whatever else that I say. So we see this happening. 1 in 4 victims of this are actually under the age of 13, right? So that's really difficult. At 13, it's pretty tough to deal with this kind of scenario. We don't necessarily know how to take care of it. We don't know if it's safe to go to our caregivers to let them know what's going on. There's going to be a lot of anxiety around that. We also know that a lot of people have this occur with people that they knew and probably trusted in sending that image. So 60% are threatened by people that they know in real life. 47% were threatened on a daily basis. So this isn't just something that's happening one time and we can kind of move forward from it. It's continuing on an ongoing basis. And what's really important to share, I think, as well, is we have seen some cases kind of nationally that we're focused on where we have had some youth actually die by suicide after being sextorted online because of their nude images. So of course, I think it goes without saying any further that that's something that we're really concerned about. And we take this very seriously and want to make sure that we're able to support people. The FBI does estimate that there are about 750,000 active child predators online. They actually have this really creepy website that law enforcement is able to utilize where you can see the users who are actively looking at child pornography at any given moment. You can kind of see that happening in real time. The FBI is able to track that on some level and to then share that information down with our local teams to try to look into this. But it's a really alarming number and kind of percentage of how often this is happening. So we know that 4 in 10 minors have spoken to somebody online who is trying to maybe befriend or manipulate them. So not necessarily all of those have kind of gone to the point of images, but at least 40% of those teens say that that has happened, where somebody has asked them for nude photos online. Right, so this is really common, this is happening. If you know of someone that it has happened to, they are in good company, and we want to, again, make sure that we can provide some services and supports there. So what does this process look like? You're not likely to get just one random text out of the blue, right? You guys would know how to handle that, and you would know to kind of disengage from that conversation. But what happens is we have a little bit of a longer process, which we refer to as grooming. So in this situation, somebody is targeting, reaching out to, sending messages to a lot of people, probably all at the same time. The first step is to find out who is going to engage in a conversation. So they're reaching out with more innocent things. Hey, how are you? I noticed from your social media presence that you're interested in this sports team. We're gonna have a pretty innocent conversation about some of those things. Once you start to form a bond and to have something in common with this person, they're gonna work through further gaining your trust through these conversations. And it's gonna become somebody that you feel like you know online. They're gonna spend some time kind of lavishing attention, gifts, money. I know of a lot of people who will just send kids money to do what they need to do on video game platforms or kind of other things. If you are looking for something and they are sending it for free, I get a little bit worried. And after all this has occurred, you have a relationship with this person, they begin to move on to isolation, requests for photos, and ultimately onto the kind of stage of blackmail here. So this is not happening in a very quick conversation. How are you guys doing so far? Anybody overwhelmed? Okay. We're going to spend a couple minutes on an activity. So I'm going to pass out some sheets and some crayons, and if you guys will work just maybe in a group at your desks, either 4 of you or 2 of you, I'll just kind of hand these out. I think I have enough for everyone. You're going to be receiving this image of a predator. As I kind of hand this out to everybody, you're going to see that this is a very open-ended image, right? There are no details of this person. They have no features, no identity, nothing yet. And I'm going to pass out those crayons as well. But what I want you guys to do is to draw me your best predator, pimp, predator, trafficker. I want you to think about what this person looks like, what they're dressed like, what kinds of accessories they might have. I want you to think about where you're going to locate them, and then tell us all about it. So I see a hand, yes?
He's gonna have to.
I'm so sorry, I can't quite hear you.
And,
I'm so deaf, my friend. Oh, we're gonna have people working groups, and not everybody's gonna have one teacher, okay? But if you want, I can go ahead.
why do we have to draw? It's saying like describe it. Municipal.
Alright, I'm gonna give about 10 minutes. So again, work in your groups, talk about your perpetrator. What do they look like? What do they act like? What accessories are they wearing? How are we gonna know that they're a predator? Guys. Thank you. We're gonna start sharing. We're gonna go group by group. So I have a group in the front that's excited to tell me about their predator. You can stay at your seats unless you want to stand up, but that's hired at you. Okay. Alright, so show everybody your predator.
So, our predator is just an average guy.
Okay.
I mean, Fred.
Fred?
His name is Fred, but we wrote that it could be a man or woman. It can be anybody. I mean, looks don't really matter. You could walk by one on the street any day, and you just look like an average Joe.
Alright, so what's our average Fred wearing? Anything in particular?
Not really. Just wearing some casual jeans, and a yellow
We're
shirt.
gonna do a TikTok with them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Alright, well thank you for your first entry, Fred. You guys are excited? Go next.
Alright, so this is Rick. He has money and a computer next to him.
Okay, money and a computer.
He's wearing a white tank top.
A
It
white
says
tank top.
I Heart Kids on it.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
he's wearing jean shorts and he has really long toenails and feet nails.
Really long toenails.
And
Alright.
a beard.
And beard. And this is Rick. Okay. Where are we gonna find Rick? Anywhere?
Probably like in his basement.
In his basement. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
Alright, so his name is Bobby. He has a phone to like lure kids in, you know,
Okay.
he's texting a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And he says, want money? Like he's offering people
You
money.
got some people money. Okay.
Pictures.
Yeah.
He's bald, he has like sandals and all that, blue tank top,
Okay.
and some black shorts.
Black shorts. Okay. Where are we gonna find him?
Probably in his house, and he's trying to meet up with some kids
Okay.
at like a local
In his
shop.
house because he's working on his phone. Alright, solid. Did you guys want to go next? Awesome.
So we have P. Diddy Jr.
P. Diddy Jr.,
He's
classic.
has a baseball cap, he has a beard, glasses, he has a phone and a gun, like he's saying like, you know, like sending a picture of like,
A phone and a gun, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's driving.
and you can find him like a tractor trailer, so the beat up tractor
A
trailer.
beat up tractor trailer, yeah, so he's driving around, he's mobile.
Yeah.
Got it, okay, thank you. Who wants to go next? You want to keep going, tables? Yeah.
His name is Derek, and he has like, he's like covering himself over.
He's covering himself, okay.
And he has like money and a phone.
Money and a phone.
Yeah, he's located in his basement.
In his basement, what's he got going on in his basement?
He has like glasses and a mask.
Glasses and a mask, okay, so he's trying to hide his identity a little bit. Excellent, okay. You guys want to go? I know you're trying to, no? Alright, you can wait. You guys?
She's not coming back, so.
Oh,
This is Mikey,
Mike, alright.
and he has like baggy clothes.
Bag your clothes.
Tattoos.
Tattoos.
He has a mask, a goofy mask.
A goofy mask. Okay. And where are we finding him?
Usually under like the
Under like a bridge or an overpass? Okay. Alright, alright. You want to go ahead now? Just go for it. Alright. Yeah. He's got a gun? Okay. What's he wearing? Anything in particular? A jacket. It looks like, does he have some money over there too? Yes, okay. Thank you for sharing that. You guys, can everyone hear each other? Yeah, okay. Who wants to share next? Somebody on this side of the room. Start us off. You guys want to go? Go for it. Kyle. Tell us about Kyle.
So, he's 37,
He's 37,
6'5".
6'5".
His legs are petite bodies.
Okay.
He dislikes when people resist him.
Okay.
He stalks people at
He
playgrounds.
stalks at
He
playgrounds.
carries a
Okay.
baton and a camera.
A baton and a camera.
When he's finished with his victims, he has like a long tongue, so he just licks them.
All right. Excellent. Somebody else? Yeah, go ahead.
This is Bob.
Bob. Okay.
He has a phone He has a crop top and shorts and some socks. He's at the beach. He goes to the
He's at the beach. Okay, so he's wearing a beach appropriate outfit. It's kind of blending in. I love that. Thank you. Who's next? Yep.
So our guy is also named Bob.
Okay, Bob again. Excellent.
A guy, just a random guy on the street, a little suspicious with the mismatch.
Okay, a little suspicious. His clothes don't quite fit. Right. Yep.
He has a bag in his hand.
Okay,
some money.
okay. Yep.
He walks around this New York City at around midnight.
New York City at midnight. Okay.
Has money some
Yep.
places, likes to lure someone,
Okay.
kidnap her.
Okay.
And he has a creepy mask on.
A creepy mask as well.
So
Okay, well, I will stay away from New York City at midnight, 'cause that sounds terrible. Who else we got? Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's great. He's a junkie, fat, ugly, evil, and his kids and an ex-wife, and he has a gun, a cupcake, and an iPhone.
All right, show us his picture a little bit. What's he wearing? Okay, okay. He's flammable, huh?
Oh no, that's like a bear next to him. It's homeless.
Oh, okay. He's got a barrel next to him because he's homeless. Does he look like he's carrying a weapon?
Yeah, it's a gun.
Okay, all right. So he's on the streets with a weapon, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you. Who else? Got a couple groups we haven't heard from yet. Yeah, go for it.
So we got Bedford.
Okay.
He's in his mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a lot of video games.
He roams the streets, and he lures people in with texts and food, and he acts friendly. As you can see, he has a lot of body hair. He's wearing some flip-flops. He has a blue shirt and black shorts.
Okay.
He has some long hair, but he has a bald spot at the top.
Okay.
And he has a blue shirt that says life, and he's holding chips and he has tattoos.
Awesome. All right. So he's got some flops, a lot of body hair. He's another guy to look out for out there, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys? Yeah.
We got Fred. He has fake gold chains. He wears sunglasses.
Big gold chains and sunglasses.
He wears a tank top
A tank top. Okay.
and jeans with holes in it.
Yep.
And he carries a gun and money, and he likes to trap people in his cars.
A gun and money. He likes to trap people in his car.
Yeah.
All right. And we have a couple groups left. Who hasn't gotten? Yeah.
So this is our guy. He likes going by first to middle. So he's Epstein Diddy Predator,
Epstein Diddy Predator.
aka EDP.
Yeah.
He's found at parks. He's 67 years old. He's an old
67.
man.
Okay.
He's an old man. He's 6 foot tall.
Yep.
And he at parks he lures kids in with lollipops and muffins.
Lollipops. Okay. All right. What's he wearing?
He's wearing a shirt that says kids, blue jeans. He has
Wearing
a
a
mini
shirt that says kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's bald.
Okay. He's bald. Excellent. Did everybody go? Any groups that we haven't heard from yet? Thank you.
This is Jack. He's just wearing like a normal outfit, and he has a knife and zip ties, and he just walks his dog down the street like lures them into his van.
Okay, so he's got a kind of normal outfit, but he's hiding some weapons, some zip ties, and he's got his dog for attention. Excellent. All right. Well, wonderful job, you guys. My first question, were there anything that a lot of your predators had in common? Any themes that you guys noticed? Yes.
a lot of guns.
A lot of guns. Oh, I heard a lot of guns.
A lot of money and cell phones.
A lot of money, cell phones.
Yeah.
They were mostly all male, right? Did we have a single, particularly female perpetrator? I know we had somebody who was a little ambivalent up here, but nobody else was female. Okay. Anything else that you guys noticed? Yes.
They all were like, they didn't live normal lives.
They didn't all live normal lives. Great point. And you were?
Most of them have food.
Most of them had like food or something? Yeah. Absolutely.
Most of them were found in houses.
Most of them were found in houses. Yeah, we had kind of houses or like out on the streets, one or the other.
They
Yeah.
all had something to kind of like lure that person in.
They all had something to lure somebody in, right? Like they weren't somebody you would approach maybe without that. Yep.
Someone covered their face.
A lot of them covered their faces. Yeah. Okay. You don't need me, right? Anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree. I noticed all of those same themes. Thank you guys so much. How come none of you guys drew a woman as a predator?
Ours is man or woman.
Okay, all right. With the exception of one group who noted that it could be anybody. You guys all thought about men, right? And that's kind of the stereotype. There's a lot of statistics that support some of that. But this is what we mean when we talk about the difference in like media coverage versus reality, right? So thank you. Those were excellent submissions. I would love to keep them if you don't mind leaving them behind. We do display some of them at the CSEC. But we're going to spend a minute talking about the reality of who are the predators out there. So I know if we can try to keep our reactions nonverbal, I know that they bring up a lot of big feelings here, but we've got R. Kelly, right? Got R. Kelly up here. We've got John Combs, P. Diddy, right? We've got some people who are just kind of representative of coaches, mentors. This is Jeffrey Epstein over there, if anybody can't see. I don't know why his photo has to be up there 4 different times, but that's little Jeffrey Epstein in the corner. We have a teacher. Her name is Amber. She's not from around here. And lastly, down in that corner, we have a couple of young women aged 21 and 19 arrested for sex trafficking minors. What does it feel like to see these faces on the screen?
Like, weird.
It's weird, right? Uncomfortable, maybe? Yeah?
They look like they'd be like a normal people you'd see when you're walking down the street.
They look like normal people. Yeah.
I was just watching the news like a month ago, and there was this case about this teacher that was like sleeping with like the whole football team,
Okay.
and then she got caught, and now she's in like jail.
I'm very glad that she got caught. Absolutely. That happens, right?
I have a question about like how do women sex traffic?
How do women sex traffic? Pretty much in the same way. We're going to talk about some of the dynamics and some examples, so I want you to kind of keep it in the back of your mind. But all of the tactics that we're going to talk about can be used by anyone. Any other questions or thoughts before we keep going? All right, you guys did awesome work with that. Thank you. So in reality, who are the traffickers? As we kind of mentioned and went over, it can really be absolutely anyone. So we can have romantic partners, friends, people that we trust, teachers, mentors, coaches. We can have business people, right? Anyone who has money or power is likely to use that money or power in a difficult sort of way. We've seen cases with family members trafficking. We've seen fake leaders, predators online, gangs. And I want to mention briefly other youth already involved in the life is the language that we use. So a lot of times we know when we have teenagers who are forced into a sex trafficking situation, sometimes they are also, as a part of that, forced to recruit others into this situation. And our traffickers use that as a tactic to control these teenagers who are likely trying to get out of this, right? They would like to move on and kind of escape from this situation. And instead, they're forced to bring new people in, and our traffickers then tell them that they're complicit, that they will also be in trouble if they ever report what's happening. So this is happening a lot with not only adults, but also other teens. And anyone who is trafficking or exploiting our youth are doing it using some sort of different tactics, but that all kind of amount to what we see here on the screen. So anyone, we're exploiting any sort of vulnerability that someone has. We're going to talk about there are some populations that are specifically a little bit higher risk, but there are going to be different ways to manipulate our youth. So we're talking about threats, physical harm, forced addiction is something that we've seen in a good number of cases. But we also talk about some things that present a little bit differently than that, where we talk about somebody who is promising to be a romantic partner, somebody who is giving gifts, providing material goods, somebody who is promising that we're going to have a better life and future as long as you stick with that person. Usually our traffickers kind of have a style that they adhere to and that they find that works for certain people. So we're going to do a few case examples of what this can actually look like. I should mention that all of these examples are taken from real cases that we have had referred to us at the CSEC, but none of the information is the same, right? We've changed everything and just kind of kept the story, if you will. So we're going to start with Aiden. Aiden is 12. He's a little bit on the younger side for these cases, right? But he's having a sleepover with a couple of friends, and they are live streaming. And while they are streaming, one of his friends pulls Aiden's pants down in front of the camera. As a joke, they're 12, remember? But one of his followers takes a screenshot when Aiden's pants are pulled down, sends it to him, and tells them that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to send this photo to everyone that you know. What do you guys think Aiden does? You think he might do it? Absolutely. And what do you think goes into that? Why might he make that choice?
So he doesn't get in trouble?
So he doesn't get in trouble. It's a really good point. One of my first questions is he allowed to be live streaming? Does his parents or caregivers know that this is what's going on? If he tells them, is he going to get in trouble for that? Any other factors that you're thinking about?
I mean, he's 12, so like he's still young and developing, so maybe like he doesn't know what he should do in that moment.
Absolutely. He's 12. He's pretty young. He's probably scared. He doesn't know what to do yet. He probably hasn't had a presentation where somebody walks him through all the exact steps of how to handle this, right? So it's pretty complicated, and he's not really sure what to do. I agree. Most likely, he probably sends that photo. The next one that we have is Charlotte. Charlotte is 15. She's a little bit older, but you know, she's still kind of in the thick of her teen years. Charlotte is living somewhere that is not really safe for her. She's not safe at home in her environment with her caregivers. So one winter night, she is feeling so particularly unsafe that she feels like she has to leave the house. And she's decided to run away. And she has a plan. She has a friend who she's going to go over to their home. She's not going to be spending the night on the street. But we're in the middle of winter. She has left home, and she's walking to her friend's house, and it has started to snow. So she reached out to a friend on Snapchat, somebody that she knows who drives, and she said, I really need a ride. I'm out here, I'm in the streets, I'm in the snow, it's not safe for me to be out here. I need a ride. So they pick her up, but that online person, once she got in the car, made her do things she didn't want to for the ride. What do we think Charlotte does? How does she handle this?
Maybe she like kills her.
Maybe she reacts violently?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very much a possibility, yep.
She might have gotten out of, like, she could have ran.
Maybe she could have ran and got out of the car, okay.
I feel like this is one of the situations where this is optional, like if she wants to leave her parents' house, she has to do these sexual explicit things, but if she actually owns up to it and decides maybe she should do the right thing and return to her parents and try to like make it up with them, then she can just leave the car, so it's really up to her, but it's not like...
Okay, so we feel like she maybe has some agency in this because she didn't have to leave home.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fair. We have a lot of things that we don't know about Charlotte and her home dynamic, right? So let's say that home is not an option at all. She is being physically unsafe at home, and she's already with this person. So something happens, right? Our description is that he's made her engage in these, or this online friend has made her engage in these activities. Does she tell anybody about that? Probably not. Yeah. And I think about your exact point. Does she feel like she had a choice, even though in the moment maybe she didn't? But did she feel like she's in trouble for all these decisions? Anything else that's going through Charlotte's mind?
This isn't of what's going, but is the friend that she's going to the online friend that picked her up?
I would say no. I think
Okay.
she's going to a safe friend's house, and the online friend is just giving her the ride there.
Oh.
Good question. Thank you for clarifying. Any other thoughts? What's Charlotte going to do once this has happened?
If the car's unlocked, she could run out, but if it's locked, then she'd probably have to do what they say.
Okay, so it depends on whether or not the car is locked, obviously. Okay, so we've got some kind of mixed thoughts about how Charlotte might handle this. And there are no right answers to these questions, right? They're very personal and individual. It depends who that friend is. It depends who her parents is and what her safe options are to talk about this. My question for Charlotte, again, is how safe her caregivers are, number one. And my other kind of question about Charlotte is how does she handle, in general, dangerous situations? So we all have, you guys are familiar with fight or flight, right? There's really actually 4 options that come along with fight or flight. So our system takes over. Our conscious brain, not online. We're not able to think these things through logically. We're reacting entirely based on our survival instincts, which can be fight, flight, freeze, or something called fawn, which is essentially to try to develop a relationship with whatever is, threatening you to try to stay safe in the long term. So those are Charlotte's options, right? And it depends on who she is and what else is kind of going on for her. And whether or not she can tell anyone afterwards also depends on these factors. All right, next we have Emma. Emma is 14, she's on Discord, and she has a friend on Discord that they are playing games every day. After a certain period of time, they end up moving to Snapchat. They're talking a little bit more frequently. This is somebody that Emma considers a friend at this point. She has a relationship with this person, right? And the friend asks for a picture of her in a bathing suit. So Emma decides to send that picture. Emma then starts getting messages from random numbers, and she finds out that the friend she sent that picture to actually posted it online along with her phone number. You guys know what that's called?
Laughing.
Her information being shared without her consent, you know? Thank you. Yep, absolutely. So Emma has been doxxed by this friend. What do you guys think she does next?
If she has a trusted adult, then she'd probably tell them, but if not, she's probably just going to go into like a panic and not know what to do, because she's kind of has like 16,000 people texting her, so
Yeah.
she'll start freaking out and getting overwhelmed.
Right, so it depends on whether or not she has a trusted adult. So if she does, maybe she can tell that adult, maybe she can get her phone number changed and all of those things. But if she doesn't have a trusted adult, what are her options? Not many, right? Okay. What are some of the reasons she might not want to tell an adult?
So she doesn't get in trouble.
So she doesn't get in trouble, yeah?
And if she tells your parents, they might do it anyways.
Yeah, absolutely, right? She might tell her parents and this stuff may still continue. It's not a guarantee that we can take care of it. Yeah, good points. Do you think she's like feeling any particular way? I saw a hand in the back. You wanna? No? Okay. Good.
Distressed.
Yeah, she's distressed. This is a friend, right? She's probably feeling like this is someone who she trusted, who has maybe betrayed her confidence, and has kind of done this harm to her as well. So it's a lot of complicated dynamics. All right, and our last example today is Tyler. Tyler's a little bit older, he's 17. Tyler has been dating a boy and they are in love. This is the best boyfriend. He's taking him out on dates. He gives him gifts all the time, tells Tyler how special he is. This is a really important relationship for him. One night they go to a house party together. So Tyler's 17 and they make the decision to have some alcohol. I'm not saying it's a good decision, but he's a little bit older. He might feel like this is something he's able to do. Tyler's starting to feel the effects of that alcohol, however, okay? He's not really in his right mind. His boyfriend brings him to a room upstairs in the house during the party and says, I need you to spend the night with one of my friends. How's Tyler feeling?
Like a little thread.
He's feeling threatened. Yeah.
Maybe confused.
Maybe confused. Absolutely. I'm sure he didn't expect this from his partner.
He's probably not in the right state of mind.
He's not in the right state of mind.
I mean, he's intoxicated, so he's probably not going to make a good choice.
Right. We know that he's been drinking and that he's been feeling the effects.
Drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. What do you think that Tyler does to deal with this situation?
I think, like, since he's drunk, yeah, I think he like does it.
You think he might do it because he's not in his right mind? Yeah, absolutely.
And he might hurt himself because of, depends on how much alcohol he drank.
Yeah, he's got the potential to actually hurt himself depending on how he handles this. Anything else that you guys are thinking about? Okay. Some of my questions here are, how did they get to this house party? Does Tyler know where he is? Does he know how to get home from here? Does he have access to his phone? Does he have a safe caregiver that he can call if he does want to get out of this situation? If he's even sober enough to access some of those thoughts, right? So there's a lot of potential barriers for Tyler here. So an important dynamic to think about too is it can be really difficult to get into these situations. It can happen really quickly. We may not be kind of looking out for the people that we're talking to as predators versus as people that we have relationships with. But even the people that we know in real life can get us into these scenarios, right? We just kind of covered some examples of that. So why is it so hard to get out of these situations once they have begun? I think about Tyler when I start this slide. He's in love with his partner. This is a really important relationship for him, right? And none of those good things, none of the dates, none of the gifts, none of those positive experiences, they're not automatically erased by the other experience, right? He has to now weigh these things and how he's going to handle moving forward. I don't know Tyler. Maybe Tyler doesn't have anywhere to go. Maybe this is a boyfriend who is going to take him out of an abusive home situation. Maybe he feels like that's still safer for him. I don't know that answer, but it's something that we have to think about. People may have been threatened or assaulted. There may be violence already in that relationship. More likely, their family, friends, pets may have been threatened or assaulted. people who are predators, particularly to children, they're going to find out who is the person in your life that you would do anything for, and you would do anything to keep safe. And that might be a person, or it might be a pet, and that's the person who's going to be targeted by this trafficker. They have most definitely made false promises. And importantly too, we know that there are a lot of people who have difficulties with systems. There are some people for whom all of our systems are not safe enough to interact with and to go for help, right? So that might be a barrier as well. So now we get to the part of the presentation where we talk about what you can do. And the most important thing that you can do is listen to your friends. So I think about a woman who I was lucky enough to have a presentation from. She is a survivor of sex trafficking by her parents. She didn't have safe adults in her life to go to. And she kind of gave a presentation to a lot of us about what that experience was like. And some of the things that she shared are the only people over the years that she ever tried to talk to about what was happening at home were a couple of people at school, some of her friends. So first of all, we know that it may be a point of safety. But the second thing that she also shared was that the reason that she got through every day of what she was experiencing is because she was able to go to school, have normal friendships. She had a job, she was engaged in sports and in activities. And those were the things that just kept her going and helped her get through the abuse and exploitation that was occurring. So that's the most important thing. If a friend comes to you and shares anything about what's going on, that seems like maybe it's not a healthy relationship, that it could lead to this kind of scenario. We want you to be able to listen to them, to understand some of these dynamics that they may be experiencing, not come at them with any sort of judgment, right? Make sure that they know that what's happening isn't okay. A lot of people in these situations can't see them for what they are. So as a friend, if you can gently say, this doesn't sound safe to me, that can go a long way. Let your friends know that what's happening isn't their fault and that you can help them go to somebody to get them out of what's happening. And be patient. You're not likely to have someone come to you and dump out a whole trafficking situation. They're not going to come in and they're going to say, this whole fact pattern has happened to me. But what they might come in and say is like, I had this awful fight with my partner. And as you listen to it, just be thinking of some of these dynamics and letting them know that you're here and that you'll be able to help them. But we don't want you to do it alone. We don't want you to take on the entire burdens and be like investigating these things or trying to figure out the truth or everything that's going on. We want you to first and foremost be a good friend, and anytime that you're worried about somebody, we want you to then be able to go to a trusted adult. So who do you guys have at school, at home, in your communities? Who are some adults that you could go to if you had a concern about yourself or a friend? Your mom, awesome.
Coaches.
Coaches.
School resource officer.
School resource officer.
Parents, guardians.
Yeah, hopefully parents and guardians, absolutely. Those are my first suggestions as well. The people in your life who you trust are the ones that you should go to talk about these things. Particularly, I do want to shout out all of your SROs. I'm sure you guys have relationships, various different relationships. Sometimes the SROs have like candy in their offices. That is a good tip. Make friends with them, go hang out with them during the day. And then if you ever needed them, they're also here for this. You can call me at the CSEC, but I think your SROs are a better place to start. All right, we're going to wrap up today with a little bit of a quiz. So I have a few questions I'm going to go through, and for this one, I do want you guys to raise your hands, as you pretty much have been anyway, because I do have prizes, okay? First question, does anyone remember what the acronym CSEC stands for? You are confident. I know.
Communication, no. I know the S is sex, the E is what's this? E.
I know, you're gonna get there. I know, go ahead.
Commercial sexual exploitation children.
You got it, the commercial sexual exploitation of children. That is the toughest one, I think. What are two different forms of exploitation?
Inappropriate photos and
You got it. Think about our different examples.
human trafficking.
I'm going to tag someone in. Go for it.
Is it a survival?
Survival sex can be one. Yep, absolutely. All right. Thanks for helping your friend. What are 2 ways that traffickers trap or manipulate their victims? Alrighty, go for it.
When you send inappropriate pictures, they like blackmail you.
Blackmail, yeah.
And sometimes it can be like you're doxing.
Doxing, sure. Blackmailing, doxing. I will take it. Absolutely. What's the average age where you might be exploited? I'm going to give that to you again. See if you can get.
12 through 16?
Yes, excellent. Thank you. What was the most popular app in 2024? Spoiler alert, I don't know the answer to this question. Go for it.
Snapchat?
I'm going to guess, I think I know what it probably is. I'm going to guess it's something different. You want to try?
TikTok.
That's my guess, yeah. But I do think Snapchat would be right behind it, so that's a good answer as well. Did you say Pinterest? Okay, because people are still on Pinterest, believe it or not. What should you look for if you think a friend might be being exploited?
Like they're like giving like somebody's like they got into a fight with their family. Like
Fight with
small
family.
examples and like tagging that in with like what you just said to us.
Yeah, so look for some different patterns, but including fights with people for sure. Bruises would be important, absolutely. What are 2 ways you can get that friend help if you are worried about them?
Like tell a trusted adult.
Tell a trusted adult? Yep, you want to say one? A guardian? Absolutely. All right. Where do I work? Yes. The CSEC. I heard it. Excellent. All righty. All right, well, thank you guys so much. You are excellent. A+ efforts on all of your parts. You can keep the crayons if you want them. If they're broken, just throw them out, or you can stack them up for me, but I do want your predators if you don't mind.